Okay, so today we're going to make homemade pizza dough and then we're going to actually put toppings on and bake it. So as you can see, I have my mise en place ready. Um, and you need to call out mise en place. Don't forget that because the executive chef or your teacher needs to make sure that everything's in the right measurements. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I have already measured out 1 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. Now you can use whole wheat, you can use gluten-free. The measurements are the same. If you're using self-rising, you're just going to double the amount, so it would be 2 1/2, and then you wouldn't need the salt or the baking powder. Okay, so baking powder, we have 1 1/4 teaspoons, and we're going to add that in. And we also have a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to whisk that together so it's good and combined. Okay, you'll also notice that I have a big bowl here because I will be using my hands to work this dough. And if the bowl's too small, then it's not going to fit my hands. Okay, so I've whisked that together. So now I'm going to add my wet ingredients, which is 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Okay, and I'm going to make sure I get all that out. Okay. And then 177 mils of water. And you'll notice that I'm kind of pouring it around so that it's not all in one area. Okay. So what I want to do is kind of stir that around until I can't stir it anymore. And then I'm going to get in there and work it with my hands. Okay. So as you can see, it's starting to get very thick. And I'm probably going to switch to my spatula soon. So it's starting to get very hard to stir on itself. It's getting thick. It's all kind of worked in. So what I want to do now is I want to work it with my hands. And because the dough is kind of sticky, I can add a little bit of flour onto my hands so that it doesn't stick as much. Okay, and I have a little container here full of flour, so I'm just going to put that on. I'm just kind of turning that into itself. And I just want to keep doing that until it starts to form a ball. And that could take a little bit of time. As you can see, it's still pretty watery, so I'm just going to add a little bit more flour. And keep turning that. Can you come here, please? Hit the square. Okay, so I've got this stretched out. Okay, and I'm gonna be right back. We're gonna put the toppings on, and we'll go from there. Okay, so here's my pan. We're gonna move this over to the pan. Okay, and I can move that over, and we're gonna put some sauce on it. Now the oven is at 450. Okay, you don't want it right to the edge, but you want it close to the edge. Now this is a little bit of pizza seasoning that we like to use. So I'm just doing a light sprinkle of that. Okay, so now we're gonna load up on our pepperonis. And we like pepperoni. Okay. And a little bit of bacon. Some mushrooms. Now, you can pre-cook the mushrooms, but you don't have to, because mushrooms are also good with a little bit of crunch still, sometimes. Okay. And a little bit of Parmesan. And then mozzarella. Okay, so this is going to go in the oven for 10 to 14 minutes. Because of the flour that we're using, it's not going to get super golden brown. It will get a little golden, but it's not going to get golden brown like a normal pizza. Okay, so we're going to pop that in and we'll come back and see the finished product. Okay, so it's been in for 12 minutes. It said 10 to 12. It's about to go off. What I did periodically was just rotate the pan to make sure it's cooking evenly on both sides. There it is. So we're going to bring it out and we're going to see what it looks like. Okay, so this is what we have. Actually, doesn't look too bad. Okay, and I have my handy dandy cutter here that will cut this. cut it down the middle, and then I'll cut it in 3 coming over. I'm just using the metal spatula to make sure it doesn't move while I'm cutting. And we will lift a piece of that off, put it on a plate, and there it is.